Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking a look at the much anticipated Figuarts Trunks 3.0, the boy from the future. Yeah, to say there's been a lot of controversy around this guy is an understatement. But I'll just start off right away by saying that the ones that are going about saying this is the worst figure of the year and all the rest of it, that's literally just clickbait. Like, I'm going to call it what it is right now. This is probably, despite its flaws, it's not perfect. This is, in my opinion, the best figure of the year so far. But yeah, let's take a look at the box first, shall we? Before we go into anything else. So, standard Figuarts packaging. You'll notice I can now get everything into frame. The latest update to my phone seems to have really done wonders to the camera. So yeah, designed by Tamashii Nations in Japan, Bandai Spirits, made in Vietnam. Vietnam Strikes Back. Wait, wrong series. But yeah, that Tamashii Nations seal of quality, yeah, it's there. Super Saiyan Trunks, the boy from the future. And on the back, just some nice pictures of him, including the blurb. And yeah, let's get that out of the way. And take a look at this guy. So yeah, first things first, a lot of the reviews are basically saying that this is first appearance Trunks, and yeah, I don't agree at all. I would say this is more just the definitive Trunks, if that makes sense. He comes with all the accessories to basically make him look like whatever version of Trunks from DBZ you want. For example, this hairpiece that I've got on them, I prefer that because it makes him look like the post Time Chamber version of Trunks, when he went back to his own time to deal with the androids, because his hair spikes up a lot more. And it's also what most of the games actually show his Super Saiyan form to be. Like, the only time his Super Saiyan form looks like that is admittedly from when he fights Frieza. After that, it starts spiking up a lot more. But yeah, in terms of the height of him, he is far too tall to be like the first version of Trunks. I mean, let me quickly jump cut and show you what I mean. So yeah, this is a scene straight from the anime. That's the scale between Trunks and Goku. Keep it in mind. And this is the scale of this Trunks compared to Goku. Do you notice a difference? Yeah, this Trunks is definitely post his adventures in the past. I have no doubt in my mind. Like, this is Trunks from Dragon Ball FighterZ. Let's see. Much more buff, much more powerful. Basically, as I said, the quintessential version of Trunks. So yeah, now that we've got that waffle out of the way, let's take a look at his accessories, shall we? So he comes with the base form head, first of all, which can be popped apart, but it doesn't come with any other faces. Now, Tamashii have just announced or revealed a Mecha Frieza and a King Cold. I think they're going to do the exact same thing as what they've done with Gohan, a la accessories like this, and give us extra faces with Mecha Frieza and King Cold. For example, a smirking base form face. I would say smirking base form face with Frieza, smirking Super Saiyan face with King Cold. That would work quite well in my opinion. There's also quite a lot of other things they can do. It's quite easy to pop off the arms to do other things with, but I'm going to do a second video detailing like these possibilities and opinions and things like that, because apparently some people think I waffle on too long, even though that's the entire premise of this channel. If you want straight to the point, you go to someone else. I give my honest opinions, and that's that. Simple as. Yeah, he comes with Super Saiyan stern looking forward face, which comes on him in the package. A Super Saiyan looking off to the side face. A gritted teeth angry face. I quite like that the pupils are a lot smaller there to show that he's concentrating. And a yelling face, which again looks really good. And I love how much detail Tamashii are putting into these faces now. They're not just flat faces with some eyes printed on. They actually do have a lot of detail to them. In terms of this Super Saiyan head, if you prefer it for any way, that just pops off the front, and that pops on just like so. So yeah, he looks like first appearance Trunks in all but height. So yeah, in terms of the sword, well, you've seen how easily that came off. That's one of the issues with this guy. For some reason, Tamashii decided to change how the sword worked. I mean, to be honest, people are right when they say that the original Trunks, and pretty much every Trunks with a sword, suffered from the same issue where the peg that went into the back of the figure would break over time, which is fair enough. Mine's also done that, admittedly, but I don't like the fact that you put the full sword in now. I mean, right off the bat, up the top here, some silver paint has chipped off, because you spend that much time trying to jiggle this in. Compare that to the original, which still doesn't have a single mark on it. But yeah, I do actually think, however, that this one is more accurate with a slightly bent hilt to it. But yeah, unfortunately, this one doesn't seem to be painted quite as well as the original. In terms of the scabbard, it's very thick, because obviously it has to accommodate the sword. If we quickly pop this in, you'll see just how thin the original one was compared to that. Can't take that off because it's glued in place. But yeah, we'll put that off to the side for now and take a look at the hands. So he comes with a pair of fists which are on him, a pair of sword holding hands that are sort of straight, a pair of sword holding hands that are angled, including where the peg goes. It goes into the thumb, gives it an angle downward, a pair of Big Bang Attack style Ki Blast hands, a pair of martial arts posy sort of hands, which also double as him powering up the burning attack, and a pair of full-on Ki Blast hands splayed out, which is for when he's firing said burning attack. So yeah, that's all he comes with. Unfortunately, no accessories to speak of, but you can get by without them, I suppose. He is still a really decent figure. So in terms of the details of this guy, the Super Saiyan hair is what I'm assuming they wanted to do with the Super Saiyan Gohan head that we got free with the Gammas, because the base hair colour is actually the same as Gohan's, but for whatever reason they didn't give Gohan any shading whatsoever, so it looks horrible in comparison. But yeah, if they go with this sort of design, with the dark shading but the platinum blonde on the tips, I'll be quite happy with that. I'll be honest, I do prefer this colour overall. Yeah, in terms of other details, the belt's nicely painted. For some reason mine is a bit crooked on the bottom. I think they've overcut the sprue when they've been taking that off. Down at the bottom, you've got the boots. The boot tips are nicely painted in the brown, but other than that, most of it is plastic. There's not much paint at all. There's a little bit of overspray on the skin tone right there, but apart from that, it doesn't look bad by any means. And the Capsule Corp logo is nicely tampographed on there. You've even got some gold paint for those buttons. So yeah, paint apps are minimum, but it does the job. This harsh lighting does show some of the plastic sheen that they could have got rid of, but it's something you can live with, I suppose. In terms of articulation, it is on, the head is on another dumbbell joint, which works really well. In fact, while we're doing that, we'll quickly pop the base form head on, just to show. And yeah, that looks really good. One problem I have with it is it seems to sit lower down on the neck than the Super Saiyan head does. Same issue Gohan has. Seems to be an issue with these 3.0 molds so far. But yeah, going back to articulation, swivel, looks up quite well, looks down perfectly well, does pop out the face a little bit. The neck itself is, I think Anthony's Customs is the one that said he looked into it, and this is just like a swivel joint. It's not an actual ball peg inside the neck, so that's why it doesn't really go side to side. Not that it needs to anyway, because the dumbbell joint lets it do any range of motion that it needs. The arms can go really far up, like surprisingly so. Swivel, there's one of the issues. It can go right the way around. Put that back in. Yeah, I'll be honest, I was playing with this. Well, playing is a thing with word, isn't it? But testing it out, and that didn't pop off nearly as much as it's now doing on camera. So you've got the bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow, and standard ball hinge at the wrist. The ab crunch can get really far, can also go really far back, and completely unhindered motion here all around. Yeah, I really like that design. There's no need to pull up, there's no need for anything else. It's just straight to the point, gets the job across. Now, the legs. The way these have been sculpted is that you're supposed to have him in the heroic stance. A lot of people were complaining having him like this, where it's dead pointy up. And yeah, if you just have him in the heroic stance, it fills out that gap and he looks perfectly fine. Not that I'm excusing this 3.0 disaster that they seem to have created for themselves. But yeah, it does the job. This is like an in-between state from the original 3.0 mould for Gohan and Super Saiyan 4s to the new Namek Goku that's coming out, where they sort of fill in this gap finally. But yeah, he kicks out reasonably well. Doesn't really kick back because they sculpted his backside in. Thigh swivel. Perfect Van Damme legs. You can do the perfect splits. Double joint at the knee. No boot swivel, that's moulded in place. You can move that ball joint about. Goes back that far. Forward, nearly non-existent. I don't understand why they cut out so much of that material, only for it not to make use of it, like at all. He gets an okay ankle rocker and toe articulation. So yeah, all in all, he does have his issues. For example, I don't know why this gap is a thing. They could have put a bit more material there to hide it. I get why they done it. It's for the butterfly joint, which I just realised I forgot all about, but it works really well. And yeah, other than that, I mean, it has its problems. I mean, wobbly legs, which can be fixed. I'll go into that in the other video. But yeah, I just wish this figure was perfect. I really do. It has its issues, but I still consider it one of the best figures that Tamashii have ever done. Even with its slightly loose joints and janky design choices. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for this review. Again, if you want to see figure comparisons and possible customization options, things like that, check out the next video. But yeah, that'll do it for this video, guys. I'll see y'all later.